Askreddit thread. What do you believe to be an example of a genuinely victimless crime? A victimless crime, of course, means something that if you did it, no one would really be bothered by it. In New Hampshire, it's illegal to collect seaweed at night. That one. Do you even give a shit about the mer people? After what they tried to do to Fleur's little sister? No one, not even the Dark Lord himself, gives a shit about the mer people. Team Fleur. You can't blame a whole race for the actions of a few radicals. Yes, we can. Welcome to Reddit. The mer... I don't even know. I guess that's a reference to something that I don't know about. Copy in a book that is out of print. Edit. Now that I think of it, here in Belgium, I think I am legally allowed to download anything for personal use. Edit. Crap, it was legal till the end of 2014. Europe, I love you, but sometimes I hate you. That's just real life Pirate Bay, man. If the people who created the content no longer create the content, making it impossible to obtain in proper ways, I'd say it's good to pirate it. That goes for out-of-print books because that's fucking history. If I'm not mistaken, books automatically become public domain after a certain period of time. 50 years or something. Project Gutenberg is digitalizing all books with expired copyrights and makes the ebook available for free. Wow. No, now it is 70 years after the death of the author. It gets lengthened every time Mickey Mouse is on the verge of becoming public domain. That's right. They could fix this by going, we are shortening copyright to reasonable terms for grandfather Mickey and gang. And so you greedy fucks maintain copyright until your company folds. Or by having politicians not fold to / be bribed by Disney, but honestly I'm looking at realistic options here. If I was to be extremely pedantic, copying could reduce the rareness and therefore value of the existing copies. Ugh, I hate myself. Authentication shouldn't be that difficult. Book A has one master copy, but copies can be printed from any computer. Book B has one master copy, which is the only copy in existence. You know there are people who would pay a left nut just to read Book B. From 1973 to 2008, sex toys in Texas were not allowed to be bought or sold. You also could not own 6 or more. They did prosecute a few people under the former law. A similar law still exists in Alabama and was allowed by a different federal court. Why? Edit. Even after the U.S. District Court said that Texas law violated the 14th Amendment and struck it down, some Texan courts challenged the decision because Texan politicians have time and time again shown that they think Texas law is more powerful than federal law. It is still in effect in the 13th District of Texas. Okay. Only in Texas would sex toy regulation be harsher than gun regulations. Buying a mimosa at 8:58 on Sunday. Obviously, you've never had to deal with a drunk customer at 12:06. They're the worst. Blue laws. I don't miss Indiana at all, but in North Carolina, the state runs the only hard spirit stores, and they're not open on Sunday. At least I can still buy beer. Topping up someone else's parking meter with quarters. This is, incidentally, my favorite way to break the law. How dare you not allow us to make more money by giving us more money? Can someone explain why this is illegal? It circumvents the time limit on the meter, letting that person squat in the parking space longer than they would normally be allowed to. Exactly. Parking meters aren't entirely to generate revenue. They're to impose time limits to keep spaces turning over, allowing other patrons to visit nearby shops, restaurants, and businesses. The use of the paid meter is an easy way to incentivize you to move along, as well as making it easy to see who's been there longer than 2 hours, or whatever the max may be in the area. But it isn't illegal to put money into the meter for your own car, just others. Not true. Many places you are not allowed to feed your own meter either, which is why it usually also says 2-hour parking or whatever. Technically, feeding your meter and staying over 2 hours is against the parking laws. Downloading a show you've already purchased and owned to view on a device that the purchased version will not work on. Yep, I have some Disney movies on VHS and on DVD, but you know what? Downloading them and storing them digitally is just so much more practical, especially since the DVDs are in boxes at my mom's place. I once downloaded Tron Legacy because I couldn't be bothered to get the DVD from the bookcase. It was 5 feet away. I've done that because it was literally quicker to download an episode of Scrubs I wanted to show someone than go down 2 flights of stairs to go get the DVD box set, go through the bloody FBI warnings and unskippable adverts, use the super slow DVD menu to select the correct episode and press play. I even downloaded in better quality than the DVD I owned. And companies wonder why people download their movies unlawfully. I had to go to court because I had one of my cars parked beside the driveway, rather than on it. It's a very narrow driveway and can't fit the 3 cars owned by me and my SO. I later had to go back to court because I parked that car on the road in front of my home, after the responding officer from the first hearing told me that was perfectly legal. Meanwhile, I hear gunshots from my home daily. 3 cars, 2 people. Hello, fellow Californian. Pumping your own gas in Jersey. Yep, live out of state for a while. Was a WTF is the big deal pretty much immediately. Works everywhere else except Oregon. I was in Oregon last year on a motorcycle trip. Getting gas in Oregon on a motorcycle really highlights how pointless this law can be. The process was, give the attendant my card. Attendant swipes the card and returns it. Attendant takes the pump handle and gives it to me. Attendant walks away. I now pump my own gas like normal. And you get paid for that, Mr. Attendant? People don't typically tip gas attendants. Here in Florida, it's illegal to live with your SO and have sex with them if you're not married. My now husband and I reached Bonnie and Clyde status. Why the fuck is that a law? Because state legislators generally don't bother removing laws that are unenforceable. Lawrence versus Texas would make this unconstitutional. This also results in the funny situation that there are laws that go unenforced because they're unconstitutional. The legislators don't bother changing them because they're unenforced, and interest groups can't sue to make sure the specific law is unconstitutional because they don't have standing since it isn't enforced. They generally have more important things to do. Christianity. All the sodomy laws were overturned in 2003, which includes sex out of wedlock and sex positions that aren't missionary. Drinking a beer less than 3.2% alcohol content. Thanks, Utah. I mean, if I'm gonna drink until I'm blue in the face, why the fuck do Mormons care how fast I do it? It is illegal to hunt whales in Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a landlocked state. Well, I mean, the thing is not about what are there some stupid laws. It's that is a pretty dumb law, though. It doesn't really fit under an example of a victimless crime because you're killing whales, but you can't do that in Oklahoma. I mean, I get what he's trying to say. It's a stupid law, but it doesn't really fit. Until July of this year, the mid-size beer growler was illegal in Florida. You could buy a 32-ounce or 128-ounce, but the 64-ounce was verbatim. You're going to get either a little drunk or really drunk. There is no middle ground. In a lot of places, it's illegal to buy/sell alcohol before noon on Sundays, because you should be at church or something. What if you have to get communion? Whiskey. Feeding the homeless. I like Stephen Colbert's remark about this case. I say if the homeless want to eat, they should do it in the privacy of wherever those people live. This one drives me nuts. It's charities FFs. They're even being careful with food preparation. They're not out trying to poison people. Government goes way too far. Time theft at your place of work. Oh dear God, I left 5 minutes before my shift ends. What I could have accomplished in the 5 minutes could have saved the company. I had a boss once who forced everyone to stay until exactly 5. Even the lady whose bus stopped right outside the door at 4:58. I worked in a place where they told employees you can only clock in 2 minutes before your shift starts. So everyone would be standing around the time clock like a bunch of hogs waiting for the feeding to open. Trow. Then they would all rush to clock in without being late. I found out in one of my first shifts at the job, before I was aware of the 2-minute policy, that they could clock in up to 7 minutes early. Who cared so as long as I was going to do actual work, which I always did. So I would come in early, bypass everyone, stand around like a bunch of idiots, punch in and go to work. Everyone always gave me the stink eye, like, oh, you can't do that, you're going to get in trouble. I never heard a word said to me during my 2.5 years at the job about punching in early. Not even during performance reviews when my paychecks were always accurate. It was just some dumbass rule the manager made of his own, and it wasn't company policy. Fuck that, let her arrive 2 minutes early. Pirating a video game that is no longer being made or is available in your country. I've done this with old games or games unreleased in the United States, and it introduced me to a new franchise and series that I greatly enjoy. I then went and bought the newer US releases of the games legitimately. My initial pirating actually made video games companies money. If they aren't available to you otherwise, then yes, I agree. They aren't losing sales over it. Recording a baseball/football game and watching it later on without the express written consent of the MLB or the NFL. The express written consent clause always amuses me. Imagine officials at the NFL or wherever receiving hundreds of letters a day asking for permission to record something, and having to reply to each letter with express written consent. Or, more likely, no. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Among those letters are several from Mr. Hank Hill. Dear NFL, I will be out of town on Sunday, December the 13th. There are a number of football games that I will be missing that I would like to DVR so I can watch them when I get back. Help I found out? Some dude. And their response, Dear some dude, fuck no. This has to do with viewing parties and things like that, not recording it for yourself. Similar to why a Buffalo Wild Wings pays a lot of money to have a pay-per-view boxing match in their restaurant. They do not pay the home pay-per-view price. Okay. Being gay. That can get you killed in some countries and beat to a pulp in many, many others. Being an atheist in some countries too. As a gay atheist, I'd be so fucked in the Middle East. No, don't be fucked, they'd kill you. If it's between two consenting adults, prostitution. Honestly, if a person chooses to sell sex because they want to, not because it's their only option or because they are under the control of a pimp/madame, and they are as safe as possible about it, then who in the hell are they harming? Emulating games that aren't produced anymore. Nintendo. Falling asleep in a barber's chair is illegal in my city. Well, that is just plain rude, too. The obvious victim is the barber. Pickpocketing. As long as you're only looking and you don't take anything is fine. What? Pickpocketing? As long as you're only looking and don't take anything. Dumpster diving. If something has been thrown in the garbage, what exactly is the problem if someone takes a bit out of it? Are you trespassing to get to the dumpster? Are you a liability for the owner of the dumpster? Could you use sensitive information found in the dumpster against the owner? The sensitive info is a big one. I could care less if you wanted a copper or metals out of my trash can, but if I had forgotten to shred something important, then it could be an issue. Once it hits the curbs, it becomes public domain, but a dumpster is private property. Most blue laws are examples of victimless crimes. What are blue laws again? Definition: a law prohibiting certain activities such as shopping on Sunday. Oh. Yeah, those are kind of dumb. Home distilling for personal consumption. As long as you don't fuck it up. I'm pretty sure you can do this unless I miss something. Depends on where you live. Some places it's fine as long as you don't sell it, although in those jurisdictions, having a certain amount constitutes intent to sell. So it's moot. Growing and smoking your own weed. By the way, did you know it's legal to buy cannabis seeds in the UK? You just aren't allowed to grow and smoke it. What? Downloading a car. In the US, it's a crime to cross the road wrong, so that only a crime in some parts of the country. There's no federal law against jaywalking. Pirating books by dead people. Seriously, why do we keep pushing back the public domain age? Companies want money. In fact, Disney is one of the biggest pushers of extended copyright. Dr. Kerrocking thing. I mean, they wanted to die, so... Oh, assisted suicide, I think. I torrented a game that is not officially sold anywhere anymore. EA wouldn't get my money anyway. Butt stuff. Turning left at a red at 5 a.m. Nobody around, but it's still illegal. This always annoys the shit out of me. Used to go to work on Sunday, 6 a.m., living in a small village. It's a 20 to 30 minute drive. Never seen anyone on the road and still those damn red traffic lights. At least here they make most of them either yellow or red flashing, which is awesome. All of those crossing state line things. Killing Harry Potter. Voldemort was the victim there, both times. Wait, what? I don't really get that one.